you're right. I think, the market's not wrong to look at, the short-term dynamics around inflation. And we've got one of the most unpredictable and complex recoveries we've ever seen. So obviously, a lot of us are wondering whether our normal models and understanding inflation are the right ones in this type of a recovery. But I think if you do look through the next couple of months a little bit and think about what is most fearful for markets, then indeed a backdrop where inflation would be a bit higher than we all anticipate right now is really not the worst thing. Generally, a bit of inflation, if you look back over a longer period of time, is actually good, certainly for equity markets. The thing really to worry, think about what has happened in Japan over the last 30, 40 years, is staying stuck in disinflation or even deflation. So I think there are some nuances around the current discussion of inflation. It is important to analyze it in the short term, but medium term, I think we're better off with a bit more inflation rather than less.
Let's play with your scenario a little bit more. If indeed we do have more disinflation or deflationary pressures, and that is where the governments and central banks should worry, do they have much in the toolkit left, bearing in mind they've already spent billions, trillions supporting the global economy, trying to reinflate the global economy and get some growth out there? What does the toolkit look like?
Well, of course, you're right. And I think what we're seeing is that at least the toolkit is used more extensively than ever before. We thought we'd seen it all post 2008. But now, next to monetary tools, all fiscal tools are being employed as well. So it's not that I'm anticipating deflation or disinflation to become dominant over the next 1 or 2 years. I'm just pointing out that there's a lot of market worries, at least a lot of pundits around the markets worrying about this inflation scare. At the same time, we're seeing markets at record highs. So also markets, I think, appreciate a little bit better than maybe some of the worrying talks about inflation, that actually it's not the worst thing to see a bit more inflation. The Japanese economy or the US economy over the last sort of 30 years grew 4 times as much as the Japanese economy over that period. And that is telling you how important it is to have inflation in the system. It is, I think, a symbol of a functioning and growing economy rather than a disinflationary outcome.